Good morning, everybody. Well, I won't say it's a bright sunny day yet, but we're heading for it. You can see there's a little bit of break in the clouds. It has been raining non-stop all night, really hard. Most of this area over here that I'm going to has been shut off to the public because of the rain and the river's up. So it's dangerous. They don't want anybody going out on the hiking trails. I'm looking into the woods right now next to me where the hiking trail starts, and it's flooded. There's just nothing but water. I'm just seeing where you would normally be able to walk. It's just flooded with too much rain. And the ground's so saturated from all the rain we've been getting lately, it's not going anywhere. It's just sitting on top. There is a creek that goes through here, somewhere in the middle of this. This is unusual. I think there was another embedded tornado last night, but it's missing us here by 20-30 minute drive. It's not right here. But when you get this much rain, flooding becomes the problem. I'm anxious to see how high the river is. It won't peak for a little while yet. And it's still raining big time south of here. And there are campgrounds south of here. The other campground that I like at the bottom of 85 is the FDR State Park. And they've been getting hit pretty hard. That's close to where the tornado was a couple of days ago. Oh my God, I'm looking at the rivers I'm coming up. It's way up. And I'm looking at the trash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can't keep up with the amount of trash that's in it. Wow. I am going to stop and get a picture of this here in a little bit because that's amazing. And it is way up. Okay, well, I'm going to transition to my seat over here. It looks like I can sit there. But what I'm going to do is switch to the forward view. All these clips that I'm going to put together of what it looks like around here is going to be at the end, so stay to the end. Good morning, everyone. Thomas Fleming here. I am going to do just another general talk. There's so much stuff going on. We know that things are supposed to get worse. The biggest crisis, I think, right now is what's happening. I'm looking at, that's a big log, a big tree floating by. At the end, I'll post some video of some of the too much water we got. That is a big tree. That's a tree floating down the river. Wow. Okay, Israel seems to be in trouble. The same people that have been destroying our country are trying to destroy Israel. They don't want any sovereign countries. They can't rule over sovereign countries. They got to have countries that are in dire need of protection, in dire need of help from the one world government. There's a fence post. Wow. I wonder if this stuff is collected down below when it gets to the power station. I got a basketball. Lots and lots of bottles in milk jugs. And they don't recycle the way they're supposed to. They go, well, the plastic's not the right kind of plastic to recycle. We can't recycle it. So they go to the recycling center, they pile it up, and then they shovel it into trucks and take it out and put it in the landfill. Why don't they just make it with the right kind of plastic? It's all money. I have a white basketball and an orange basketball right close to each other. So some play yard got washed out. Lots and lots of logs. Boy. We think, when Netanyahu gets reelected that it's going to be good for Israel. They're going to go stand up against Iran. We're told in the Ezekiel war that no one's going to help them except God. Well, in order for them to be in that position, they have to be extremely vulnerable. Their government right now is on the verge of collapse. This left-funded group that's in there, they're getting billions of dollars from Soros and other billionaire rich people that want the one world government. And it's successful. They've been rioting. They almost stormed the palace where Netanyahu was staying. My nose is, I don't have my cold anymore, but I got all the symptoms. My nose itches. Another basketball. Okay. I don't have to give you a play-by-play of trash floating down on the river, but this is amazing. State of the Inn, I got a short clip of it, and there's more land out there that's just flooded. You can't go off on the trail right now because the creek is flooded. Another basketball. Okay, so all you guys who play basketball in local parks, you're going to have to go buy some new balls unless you can get them snagged out of the river, wherever this ends up with. This is so much trash. So we figure Netanyahu gets in, he's going to go launch an attack on the nuclear sites that are enriching uranium for one purpose, a bomb, or multiple bombs. They would be glad if they had 50 to 100 bombs. They would take them around the world and they would kill everybody that they could. This group that's in there, these Ayatollahs, another tree. It's a log, it's floating. These things are like 20 feet long. A soccer ball. The people of Iran are not the problem. And even though the Muslim religion is not the right religion, most of them are peaceful. It is this radical group that have taken over. Now, they're going to get put in place eventually because even they aren't going to fit in with the one world government. If the one world government people can get them to fight, go to war with Israel, and Israel nukes them, and maybe they nuke Israel, it's going to kill off all kinds of people, and that's what they want. They want war, they want murders, they want abortions, they want anything that kills people, because we're overpopulated. We're 8 billion on this planet now, and they want that cut by over 80%. I said this before, they want just enough people left on the earth to be their servants. If they want to go to a restaurant, they want staff there. That's all they want. You're going to go someplace and rent a boat? Okay, you got to have a boat yard. Someone to repair the boat. That's all they want. They don't need any more than that. They don't want us wandering around freely doing and enjoying life. They want us working for them. Now, Satan wants everybody dead, and he doesn't care how he gets there. So if these people want to do that, he's helping them. And the world is just spiraling down. Don't be afraid, that's the key. In the midst of the storms last night, especially when the power was out, I just figured, okay, I was crawl into bed and go to sleep. I put my headphones on so I wouldn't hear the thunder and lightning. Of course, you don't hear the lightning, but you hear the thunder part of it. But you know what I mean. So I was peaceful and calm. I looked and saw that there were no hook signatures in the fronts coming in, so I wasn't worried about it. For some reason, this particular area, the storms tend to split and go around, with the worst of it staying south. So I knew I was safe. The power finally came back on, and I got up and had to turn my light off because I left the switch on. Everything was okay. I transferred the power from when the power went out, I plugged my cooler into the battery, into my Jackery to keep the cooler running. My little Jackery, even though it's a small one, will run this cooler for 3 days on the lowest power setting. I didn't have internet when the power went out because Starlink uses power. And I decided that it was not important for that. It was more important to keep my cooler cold. If I had a bigger Jackery, I could run everything, but right now, I'm fine with where I'm at. The power doesn't go out that often. What is this? I don't know what it is floating down here. Huh. Okay. Huh. It's got two little red things sticking up. I don't know what it is. The way I'm seeing things come off of play areas, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see a plastic bike or something like that. Some of these kids' toys that they take out in the backyard. Yeah, they don't want people down here. This is way too much. I'm curious what the platform area looks like. They're up on platforms for a reason. When the river gets this high, they get water around the platforms. That's why they're built the way they are. I've been coming here for 2 years now, regularly. I've been here before a long time ago, but since I started doing this video series, I've been coming here, and this is the highest I've ever seen this river. And 2 days ago, they just did their annual sweep the, what is it called? Sweep the hooch? This is the Chattahoochee River. They had a bunch of people show up. The parking lot behind me was completely full, and they had people going out in canoes picking up trash. And that was when you might find 1 or 2 pieces every quarter of a mile. It's still too much to see. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 67, 8, 9, 30. I'm counting roughly 50 pieces of trash just in my viewing area. And the viewing area is moving at a few miles per hour. I'm not sure what that speed is, 3, 4 miles an hour. So about every 2 minutes, I have a completely new frame of debris to look at. You don't know what's coming next. Everything to keep you off center. There's a number of us that look at our end time stuff, and we're not really sure where the Ezekiel war is going to fit. Is it going to fit in the beginning? Is it going to fit at the end? There's going to be damage in Israel at some point in time. There's damage from the Ezekiel war, even though God protects them and saves them. They would be wiped out if it wasn't for God coming in. But there's still damage. And we've got to get the temple built. Israel has to exist at the midway point. And I've been doing some studying that the 2 witnesses might also fit either off-center. 1,260 days is how long they're going to be witnesses. That's 3.5 years. That's halfway through tribulation if you started at the very beginning. And it being that exact halfway mark, I can't see it offsetting. 1,260 days after you're a year in. So it's either going to be the first half or the second half. And one of the guys I've been following and listening to him teach is thinking that it might be the second half. I don't know. That would be difficult. The Antichrist has to go to battle with them. So that kind of puts it in the front, but he had some good arguments for it being in the second half. So I don't know. We don't know. That's the problem. We know everything that's coming and it's not good, but we don't know the time. All right, so pray for Israel. We don't know what the status is. They're apparently still not, there's ultra-Orthodox there, but they've also got some liberals there. That's why the coalition that they put together before Netanyahu got reelected was just a mixture of everybody, including some from the Iranian people that they absolutely hate, but they were part of it to make up that we're going to get Netanyahu out of office coalition. Because he's a hawk. They don't want somebody in there that will protect and fight. They want somebody who will roll over and play dead. Israel is never going to be free of attacks because it's God's promise to the people that they will always have that land available. And they're back in it now, and they're not going to get kicked out of it this time. But they may take some damage. And there's got to be a reason, pardon me, got to be a reason for them to use, for somebody to use nukes. Damascus being laid waste, a nuke would do it. Elam, the west coast of Iran, on the Gulf, another place where there's probably a nuke. But it doesn't have to be a nuke. We saw what happened in Lebanon with that storage area blew up. Ah, it's a dry cough. You're not coughing anything up, it's just irritated. Well, we had some blue sky, but we're losing it again. There's some off in the fringes. There's this big long band that's just been going up at an angle, like that. The worst part of it stayed south of us. But it's still raining. Big time. There's still probably warnings and alerts out. I did see another tornado warning this morning in the same general area that the last one was, where they got some damage here. People in Mississippi got some real damage, some major, what you are used to seeing when you see a report of a tornado going through an area. It just leveled houses, and I don't know if the death count's up to 26, but the people left behind are having to deal with losing everything. Don't put your grip around all the things of this earth. It can be taken from you in an instant in normal times. God will take care of us eventually through all this stuff. But you just have to be strong. Look at it and just say, okay, this is unusual, but I'm still here. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. I tried to get, I'm still doing my videos in parallel right now, Rumble and YouTube. You don't have to watch them both, but if you could, just go across to be part of Rumble and like the stuff that's over there. I've got to get that channel built up. There's only 138 subscribers. That's not enough. I want to reach as many people as I can. I'm not making money off of this stuff. Overall, I'm still spending more than I'm bringing in. YouTube, I may get $100 a month. Well, it costs me about $200 a month in internet fees to be able to do this. So I have the Patreon account too that people are helping out with. It's all important. It all keeps things going. And I've got my son I'm also sponsoring in some of the work that I'm doing. I'm trying to get him to help. I'm still waiting for him to tell me when he's coming back. He is narrow-scoped. He gets his eyes set on something, and he has to do that and get it done. And until he does, he won't move on to the next step. Normal people can plan. Now, that's good because you're focused on what you're doing, and you do a good job because you're staying focused. But normally people will plan ahead at the same time they're working for their day stuff. He doesn't do that, not very well. Nobody multitasks. They've already tested that. Nobody can multitask. Our brain doesn't work that way. People can switch gears fast, but they're not multitasking. Multitask means you're doing two things at once. But that's not the way our brain works. When you see people that appear to be multitasking, they're going focus, 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 focus. They're not doing double focus all the way down. Our brain doesn't work that way. They're just good at it. And you've got to be good at what you're doing to be able to multitask that way. Well, I'm hoping that he gets on his schedule properly and I can go pick him up at the airport. If he flies out on schedule, he's leaving tomorrow and will be in the next day. But I don't know yet. I'm hoping and praying that this rain will be done. I don't want him to come back to all this turmoil and onslaught that we're dealing with. I'm used to it and it doesn't bother me a bit. Like I said, I went to bed in the middle of the roughest part of the storm last night. I don't care. God's protecting me. I did get some rain in the tent last night because it was a little river running through the campground area, and some of it splashed up in. I've got little vents on either side, and if it gets to be a river, that's going to flow into that. It's up about that high off the ground, but if you're splashing, it's not coming in buckets, but it's coming in teaspoons. And when you've rained literally for 12 hours straight, you're going to get a little bit of water in there. And I do, so. But I've got paper towels I leave in there. I don't even pick them up when I fold the tent up. I just leave them in spot because they dry out eventually. And since I'm moving from campsite to campsite, I'm not storing it away. So if they're still wet from the previous one, I don't care. I'm going to set it right back up again the same day I take it down. And I've taken my tent down in the rain and I've put it up in the rain. It's been raining so much here. I saw where California lifted its drought. Well, no duh. They've had enough rain just like here. We're all getting a lot of rain. Just look at it in amazement that we've made it through life without seeing some of this stuff before. But people that are having to deal with it. Anything that will turn people's eyes towards God, that's what you're going to see. That's the whole purpose of the tribulation. The first half anyway, the seals and the trumpets are really to wake people up. That's God's plan, and Satan clones it to make a cheap copy of it, and he comes up with the woke. Being woke doesn't mean that you're waking up. It means totally different. Got people walking around down here with their dogs. You can still get in, you just can't drive in. Go ahead and stop it. Okay, I'm back. I like to talk to the local inhabitants here. People over in the RV section come down as well. I'm the only one in the tent section right now, but in the RV section, there's quite a number of people over there because they're self-contained. And apparently they've been here long enough to say that this is not as high as the water's ever been. Maybe another 3 feet higher. And it looks like it's already gone up a little bit just since I've been sitting here. You got to figure that after it stops raining, you still got some time for all the water to continue running off the land into the rivers and lakes, and for them to continue rising until all that's washed away. Okay. I really don't have a whole lot more to say. It's just, it is still crazy out there. You think things are stable. Israel, we don't know what's going to happen. The far left has got, just like here in the United States, has got a great influence on what goes on, and they're getting billions of dollars thrown at them to do anything they want. It's just like here when we had all the riots and the different various racial groups are out there saying, I'm being mistreated. Well, they weren't being mistreated, but that's what the narrative was, so they could have an excuse to go out and trash things. Well, they're doing the same thing there. They're also doing it in France. Same thing. They're getting ready. That's a big tree. They're getting ready to, I think they've already started, have some strikes from the labor forces there. Anything they can to disrupt. Do they not realize they're going to destroy the country? Well, they don't care, the people that are behind it. They're not the locals. They're not the people that know better. These are paid thugs coming in. You hear the geese. They're on the other side of the trees. I didn't see them. Another ball. I think I've counted 50 balls since I've been here. A lot of trash. All right. So anyhow, it's this judicial reform which they need. Netanyahu wants to push it through. The ultra-Orthodox, strong, Old Testament anyway, Bible believers are threatening to leave the coalition if he doesn't push it through. He's talking, they're supposed to have a speech. I haven't heard it if he's talked because my internet's been up and down. If he cancels this reform, they're going to leave the party and his party will collapse and they will have to have another election. When you've got people being paid to divide and you don't crack down on them, they should find the instigators and they should be tried for treason, is what they should be done. And in most countries, treason is punishable by death, not by just locking people up. They need to be hardline, but they're not. Satan's involved in this, and he'll make sure that nothing happens to his little minions. He's going to take all of his little minions all the way into the fiery pit. All right. Be safe. Don't let this stuff bother you. The hardest part for me is just being cooped up inside my tent, but I have a big tent. Having no power means I can't upload videos. My Rumble video, it took me 4 tries to get it uploaded because the Rumble app doesn't save its position. If you lose connection for a longer than, a couple of minutes, it doesn't hold the video. And even though I can upload it faster than I normally can, if it doesn't finish and then it loses connection, I have to start over 4 times. Oh well. I have nothing else to do. I was waiting to see if I was going to get a special message for today, but I didn't. The one tomorrow will be good. I'm trying to get 2 days ahead. And I'm currently only 1 day ahead, so this will be my 2nd day. Now I got to get this one uploaded before the power goes out again. It's a challenge. It's a challenge for all of us. So pray for me that I can keep doing this. Pray that I can get my son back here and he can help me. I'm going to start training him to do what I do. He's already doing missionary work, but he needs to also, there's a business side of it. You've got to raise enough money to cover what you're doing. You don't have to raise enough money to have 4 gold-plated cars and a mansion on a hill, or 5 mansions, or wherever you want to go, and travel around the world in your plane that you've paid for. These people are totally lost. That's not, and they may be the ones that are going to hear at the end, get away from me, I don't know you. Pray for them as well, because they're totally misleading people and taking money. God, we look forward to what you have planned for us. Help us to get through this quickly. Help us to survive this. Those that are suffering physical ailments, please help them. Either heal them or give them peace and strength to deal with it. This world is fragile, and it's being deliberately destroyed by Satan. And you're backing away more. God does not create all this. God does not send people to hell. God doesn't create chaos like this. This is Satan's work. And it's only happening because the world says, we don't want God, get away from us, leave me alone. And God honors that request. We have free will. And the majority of the free will on this planet right now is we don't want God. And that's why things are happening. God is not doing this. I'm sure it saddens him to see what I'm seeing and hearing about in the news. But it's all part of a plan. We're going to get through it. The trash is still coming. I could have done a 30-minute video of nothing but the river and show you the trash. It is amazing. And normally I complain when there's 4 or 5 pieces of it. Okay, be safe. This makes life interesting, I guess. God is coming back soon, but we don't know when. But we will meet in the clouds soon. God bless. Well, if you've seen pictures before, you can see that this water is way up. You can see the railing over there that goes down. That's how far you can walk down. But look at the debris in the river. That is unfortunate. Look at that. Wow. Bottles and all kinds of stuff floating down the river. I don't ever remember seeing it here like this. Not only is it way up and flooded, but the amount of debris. Because it's been raining hard everywhere. I'm just going to sit here for a little bit, let you see that this is consistent. The amount of trash, and there's wood in there too, there's logs and other things that are part of this, but my God, that is really, really sad to see. And of course, fishing would be out of the question at this point. The water's so muggy, they can't see to eat. And it's flowing fast. Okay. Again, my message is not necessarily to this, but this is what's happening to the world. All that water That's not a lake. That's just flooding. And that's what you'd have to go across. See the trail? Too much water. That's why they've closed this area off. Well, this is what my campsite looks like. I moved my Starlink outside to see if I could get an even stronger signal. I've been keeping it in the tent, but it's better there. But it doesn't work when the power goes out, which it did twice. And I've got water collecting. Everything's wet. I had a friend of mine on the channel here say, I didn't show how to build the fire. Well, because I haven't been able to build a fire properly. I started with something similar to that. I piled a bunch of small branches on it and hit it with some lighter fluid like you'd put on charcoal. Because all this wood is wet. It's been raining. Look at the path. There's water everywhere. I'm going to walk down to the river and just do a general talk. I think they've closed the gate off. They don't want anybody down there because it's dangerous. They don't want anybody going out in the woods today. All right. At the end of this, I'm going to show you a quick video of what the sky looked like last night. It was pretty watching it until it got here. And there was another tornado embedded somewhere south of us. Fortunately, everything really bad is south, but when you get a red cell going over the top of you, it appears to be bad if it's not. It's just noisy. All right. Let me get back to my normal video, which this will be at the end. Well, they just closed the gate, and the gate over there too. The river is really high with all this rain. It rained literally all night hard. But I'm going to continue to walk on down. I'll get you some more pictures. Somebody wanted to see the river, so I'll show it to you. I try to show it in every video, but sometimes I forget. I'm used to it. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to try to record my message. Power just went out and it brought me outside to look at what's going on out here. The lightning's happening somewhere far enough out because I'm not hearing it. But it's a pretty sky.